Hi there. So Maureen,
hi everyone. Welcome back from breakouts. So Maureen and I are going to just briefly share some of our key takeaways that we were spying in your breakout rooms. So hopefully we'll do a good job of that. And then we'll pass it off to Eric and Sophie. So the two groups that I looked at seem to talk about prioritizing zero waste packaging and food waste. So there's a big focus on waste reduction. Some of the common themes that came up were kind of a concern around safety around reusables, training operators on how to potentially like clean and reuse reusables if anyone's doing that, sharing best practices. There was a question about an analysis of the ROI on reusables versus disposables. We did that at BC. If anyone wants to know about that, we can share that. And then on food waste, kind of the same overall questions around like how do we engage staff and students more on waste reduction during these times where we're trying to reduce costs and reduce waste when we're all living in this like time of disposables and takeout. Maureen, what did your group say?
So I was observing three different groups too. So we had zero waste, racial equity, and prioritizing the principles. And what was really interesting is across the three, there was a community theme, even though they were all very much different topics. For the zero waste, it seemed to focus a lot on zero waste, the packaging being a good way to communicate with students, because a lot of people aren't feeling comfortable to come out of the rooms, or there's a level of, like I'm very comfortable to I'm not comfortable at all. So one of the notes in there, which I thought was really brilliant, is it's a good way to communicate through, if you want to share educational materials or something, that might be a nice little way to stick something on the package. A lot of great conversation about racial equity. It sounds like it was with a lot about Boston College and how they've created a model and task force on their campus and working with other departments, and just how super integrated that is. And again, that Julie and I were talking backstage and how we thought that might be a really cool prompt. So maybe part of education working group could create some prompts, like those table talk prompts you get, like, and do the one for each principle based on the racial equity. And then for the prioritizing principles, it sounded like that was that safety seemed to come across as the priority number one, but principles were also sort of that next maybe in line. Again, craving interactions, connections. So it's a lot of connection, community, all of those three, even though they were all technically different topics. So it feels like there were some pretty strong themes emerging there, I would say. And a lot about sharing on social, because a lot of kids, they're either online, students are online doing Zoom or Teams or something like that. So great discussions. It was, boy, you guys did a lot in a very short period of time. And it was very fascinating for Julie and I to hop in and out of the different rooms to try to capture what you were talking about. So very fascinating. Thanks so much, everybody. Now we'll turn it back to Eric and Sophie to close out the annual meeting.
Well, great. Thanks so much to you, Maureen, and to you, Julie, as well, our two favorite spies in the MCURC. I would just say, wow, really exceptional work that you're both leading. There's some amazing things that are occurring and have been for many years in the Education Working Group, and it continues to be really a powerhouse of the MCURC. And the breakout sessions were really terrific and great report out that we just heard.
Great
so report out. Both so much for your exceptional leadership. Next slide, please. So I also want to express from both Sophie and May our sincere thanks and gratitude to Dr. Shirley Everett and Greg Drescher for leading the MCURC, what I would call the amazing CIA production team for all their behind the scenes work and their support of this virtual series, especially Christina, Shara, Caitlin, Jackie, Katie, Casey, Kelsey, Anissa, and Patty. While many of you probably haven't seen them all, it absolutely takes a village to pull off this virtual series. Our sincere thanks to all the chairs and co-chairs and to our two extraordinary councils, both the Leadership Council and Advisory Council. And of course, we wouldn't have this collaborative without the fabulous sponsors and great sponsor idea hubs we've seen over the last 4 weeks. Thank you so much to our founding sponsors who've been there with us since the beginning, and to our 2020 sponsors. Over the past 4 weeks, there's also have been numerous award presenters and panelists. We are so grateful to all of our panelists and presenters for sharing their time and expertise with us. And a special thanks to all of you, including the alumni that joined us for the first time in this virtual series. Thank you so much for spending your valuable time with us virtually during this year. And as you see, we're planning, I always say planning, to host you in person at Stanford for the 7th annual all-member meeting. So that's our plan for today, but I will say that Sophie and I remain hopeful, and we here at Stanford remain hopeful to see you in person and all the great activities that go with that. Next slide, please. So we're going to ask you to also please fill out a survey to let us know your thoughts, this being our first virtual series in our first pandemic. So let us know what worked from your perspective and where are areas for improvement. There's a link to the survey in the chat, but we'll also follow up with an email to include you in the survey link. So looking forward to seeing your feedback. And as a reminder, we have a new website where you can find all of the resources you need, including a dedicated member and sponsor portal, along with the research and education working groups, published projects and reports. Lots of great information there. Please check that out. Next slide, please. You can also join us at any time in the MCURC LinkedIn community, where you find information from both members and sponsors. Lots of great information there. A way to stay connected throughout the year. Please use this space to keep in touch with your fellow MCURC members. Let us know what's happening on your campus. Ask questions. We'd love to see you in our community space on LinkedIn. Next slide, please. Also look for more information, which will be coming soon about the new mentoring network. This information will be coming out about this exciting program in one of our upcoming newsletters. And I especially want to close by saying thank you to Sophie for her amazing partnership, leadership, vision, and support. The MCURC would not be as successful as it is without your many tireless contributions over these past 6 years, and especially during such a difficult and challenging year. You're a true MCURC champion, and I know our members feel the same way about you. But I know also, Sophie, we're not done yet. So what are your closing thoughts?
I will just second all of what you shared there, and especially thinking about the role that you lead at Stanford every day, and then to continue being the tireless co-director of MCURC. You know, it's like we said about Maureen Timmons, somehow all of you who care so much about.
And I think we're trying to get Sophie back. We see we're having a little bit of technical issues. She's going to join us just as soon as she can. But I agree about Maureen, and one of the things we're going to ask you is to get involved in our professional committees. So especially in our working groups, lots of great activities happening in the working groups as well, both in research and education. If you're interested in being part of those, please let us know. We'd be happy to include you as well. Next slide. Also, we'll be having 2021 Insights Exchanges. We had 4 of them coming. 4 of them this year. Lots of great ideas, COVID pivots, idea sharing. Let us know what your ideas are, things you'd like to see in the Insights Exchanges for 2021. We hope to have a few of those again, starting soon in the new year. Next slide. Also, we'd like to get your information on the collective impact. So if you haven't submitted your information, please do so in January 2021. And hey, Sophie, it looks like you're back.
Yes, thank you. Sorry. I was just mentioning that, or hoping to mention that the Racial Equity Working Group is really going to be such an important piece of our work in the year ahead. Glad you've already touched on some of the other engagement opportunities throughout the coming year. And for the next slide, really also want to emphasize, in addition to submitting your collective impact data, be sure to take advantage of new resources such as the Early Learnings Report for Collective Impact. This is on the next slide, please. Great, so there's all kinds of new resources that were published from this year, as well as the new Almost Perfect Plant Forward University project, 2 multi-site research studies published in Nutrients, and our exciting Education Exchange and Fellows Project Repository. So relatedly, there's some great MOC virtual online resources. You'll want to check out the upcoming Worlds of Flavor Festival as well, and the Global Plant Forward virtual programs. So those are great opportunities for professional development, chance to learn with other industry leaders, gain inspiration, and much more. So now to wrap things up, we're heading into our final networking break, our networking reception, and the Fellows poster session. Be sure to bring all your questions for Alejandra, David, and Madeline to the Fellows poster session for their great and really interesting work. And the Hopin system will stay open until 1 p.m. Pacific. So we hope you'll continue to get to know one another through the random matching feature in the 4-minute chats. You know, Eric, I'm thinking about what this moment feels like. Usually at the end of an all-member meeting, there's hugs, there's old friends, new friends, people with luggage kind of lingering, not wanting to go to the airport just yet. And we hope that you kind of channel that feeling virtually and really try to linger here a little longer and again, make some new friends in those final moments and share some virtual hugs with some old friends. So we really are just so grateful to all of you for taking the time to be with us. Eric shared all of our thanks across the board to all the people and organizations who make this possible. But really, we're so excited to engage with you. We have such an exciting year ahead. Hopefully you've gotten a sense for that across research, education, innovation, and many, many strategic initiatives that rely on your input as a member-driven organization. So with that, stay a little longer in the networking break, chat about your most delicious new habit that you've picked up during the pandemic. And Eric, I'll let you have the closing word to our community.
Well, just thanks, everybody. We really appreciate all your time, all your support. I described today feels like Game 7 of the World Series. Dump some Gatorade on each other. Lots of successes, lots of innovation. Thank you all so much, and we look forward to seeing you again very soon. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Be well.